Good afternoon. Jesus Esparza, Mr. E, everyone's favorite rebellious teacher. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. Today we're going to be talking about one of my personal favorite strategies for helping your students learn to read and improve reading comprehension. It's called the Read Aloud Plus. Get out a pen and paper, prepare to take some notes because we're going to be doing a lot of learning today. There are two main elements to the Read Aloud Plus. The first being the Read Aloud itself. Now this is where the teacher actively reads out loud to the students while adding visual supports, paraphrasing, writing, and think aloud along with it so that the students can actually hear what's going on inside and adds to that to their external thinking while they are listening to what's being read. And you can also add in checks for understanding. You can also activate their background knowledge, create connections, real-world connections, person-to-text connections, text-to-text connections. You can also normalize the errors because no matter how good of a reader you are, no matter how much time you spend reading, let's face it, we all make mistakes. And this is a good thing for your students to hear. They need to know that even proficient English speakers and readers still make errors. This will help them be encouraged to continue despite making mistakes. The next part is the plus. To me, the plus is where the fun is. Okay? So the plus is where we're actively involving the students. We're making the reading come to life. We're not just leaving it static on the page. We're adding in the visuals. We're adding in relia, rewrites, illustrations, compare and contrast, physicalizations, doing as much as we can to make the reading tangible and really pop out to your kids. So those are the two main parts. Again, the Read Aloud and the Read Aloud Plus combined to make reading fun and improves reading comprehension for your students. All right, so now that we've discussed what a read aloud is, let's talk about how to do a read aloud. Now there are 7 essential steps to the read aloud. The first step is prepare what you're going to read, pre-read it, and select your support activities and materials. So this is where you're going to be looking at vocabulary, concepts, text support, because if anything's going to go wrong, it's going to happen with your technology. This is where you're also going to look for hot spots. Where are your students going to have a hard time? What words are they not going to know? Things like that. What background knowledge can you activate and build? This is also where you're going to look at timing. Where are you going to start and stop? How many chapters are you going to read a day? Does an activity go before, during, or after the reading? As well as with timing, I also like to talk about cliffhangers. Now, if you're doing it right, your students should ask you, can we read one more chapter, just one more page? That's because you have mastered the art of the cliffhanger. Know when to start and stop your stories so your kids keep wanting more. Step number 2, explain the process. What do you want from your kids? Give them the right directions, expectations, and examples so they know what you're expecting. The next step, step number 3, read and clarify. This is where you're actually reading to your students. You're up and about, or you have your spot that you like to read from. Everyone has their own situation. Everyone likes to do their own thing. So do what best works for you. But don't be afraid to stop while you're reading. Actually, you should be stopping while you're reading. You should be stopping to clarify any questions they might have. You might be stopping to modeling think alouds, your vocabulary and visual aids, things like that. You will need to stop. Don't be afraid of this. Don't just plow over your kids and keep on running. Know where your milestones are. Also, prosody. This is really important because a lot of kids, especially your ELL students, are going to read very monotone. They're going to struggle with the words. So they should hear how you vary your voice, how you get excited when there's an exclamation mark, how you kind of ask things weird when there's a question mark, things like that. Have fun with it. Change up your voice. Get into the characters a little bit. These kinds of things really bring the reading to life. So focus on making it fun, make it alive. Don't just leave it static on the page. Step number 4, engage the students actively. Okay? I really focus on that actively part. Try to get them out of their seats. Try to get them thinking and creative and things like that. Look at what your learning extension activities are going to be. What can you give them that's going to be fun and really push them with those concepts and those vocabulary, because this is where you're going to make those connections between what they're reading, the concepts, and the vocabulary that you want them to learn. Step number 5 is going to be review key concepts, okay? So don't forget to review what you're learning, what you want them to look for. Make visuals and leave those visuals up, because you're going to be throwing a lot of work at them revolving around this text. So leave those up so they can refer to them while they're working. Step number 6, assess and monitor growth. As teachers, you know we have to prove that students are progressing and learning. This is where I really like to use and highlight the student portfolio. This can include any work that they are doing with regards to the text. So writing samples, drawings, illustrations, notes, poems, anything you have them working on, even your graphic organizers can go in that portfolio. So that way they can show off to their parents, administrators, and other teachers, and even their friends of what they've been working on and what they're learning. Last step, step number 7, add technology. We live in a digital age. Our kids are always nose deep in some kind of technology. So use that to your advantage. Have them do internet searches, internet scavenger hunts. Have them type what they're writing. Have them do research papers, PowerPoint presentations. There are so many things that you can do today with technology. Why not have the kids involved? It's only going to help them get better. So those are the 7 steps to making sure that you have a fun and successful read aloud. How to do a read aloud? Let's talk about why we want to do these read alouds. What value does it provide to your students? Well, the first thing that it's going to do is it's going to enhance their understanding of what they're reading. Especially for your ELL kids, this might be an understanding they've never had before with text. Next, it's going to boost language development and vocabulary. They're going to hear how you do it. They're going to have a great modeled example for them, which their parents might not be able to provide. It's going to teach comprehension strategies. So it's going to teach them to decode and to comprehend. This kind of goes along with giving a person a fish or teaching them how to fish. It's going to relate the text to the students on levels that they've never had before. Again, especially for your students who struggle with English. It's going to add visuals to them. They're going to be able to see it. And those visuals are really going to help bring it to life along with your prosody. The better you're able to make the text come out and the more visuals you add, the more real and tangible it is to your students. And last but not least, it's fun. And if you're not having fun while you're reading aloud to your students, you're not doing it right. You should be having fun. Your students should be having fun. They should be going home all day bragging about what they're reading with their teacher, because that's what reading should do for them and for you. So, again, there are many other values why we should do read alouds and why we should add the plus to our read alouds, but those are just some I would like to highlight. Well, that's all I got for you today. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I hope you got some good strategies and some techniques to help your next Read Aloud Plus be amazing. Get out there, find some books, have fun with it, get your kids learning. Now that you've learned something, turn off your screen, pick up a book, do the rebellious thing, and read.